When transitioning from non-metallic sheathed cable referred to as NM cable or metal-clad cable, known as MC cable, to electrical metallic tubing referred to as EMT conduit within a wall, the key consideration is whether the transition fitting needs to be accessible or can be concealed. Generally, electrical codes prioritize accessibility for junction points and connections. This is to facilitate inspection, maintenance, and troubleshooting of the electrical system. However, specific allowances exist for certain concealed installations. The Electrical Code, specifically the National Electrical Code or NEC, addresses this in various sections depending on the specific application and type of wiring. When making a transition from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit, it is crucial to use approved fittings that are specifically designed for this purpose. These fittings ensure a secure and reliable connection between the cable and the conduit, maintaining electrical continuity and providing mechanical protection. The NEC generally requires that all wiring connections and splices be made in approved boxes or fittings. These boxes or fittings must be accessible. This means they should not be permanently concealed by the building finish or structure. The purpose of this requirement is to allow for future inspection, testing, and maintenance of the electrical system. However, there are exceptions to this rule. One common exception is for listed and labeled devices or systems that are specifically designed to be concealed. These devices or systems have been tested and approved for concealed use by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories or UL. When using such devices or systems, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation and use. Another exception to the accessibility requirement is for certain types of wiring methods that are permitted to be installed without boxes or fittings. For example, the NEC allows an NM cable to be fished through wall cavities without the use of boxes or fittings, provided that certain conditions are met. These conditions include that the cable is supported at intervals of not more than 4.5 feet and that the cable is protected from physical damage. When transitioning from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit, it is important to consider the specific requirements of the NEC and any applicable local codes. In some cases, the local code may be more restrictive than the NEC. It is also important to consult with a qualified electrical inspector to ensure that the installation is in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. In general, if the transition fitting is not listed and labeled for concealed use, it must be accessible. This means that it must be located in an accessible box or fitting. The box or fitting must be located in a place where it can be easily accessed for inspection, testing, and maintenance. If the transition fitting is listed and labeled for concealed use, it may be concealed without the need for an accessible box or fitting. However, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation and use. The type of fitting used to transition between NM or MC cable and EMT conduit is also important. The fitting must be listed for the purpose and suitable for the environment in which it is installed. For example, if the fitting is installed in a wet location, it must be listed for wet locations. Similarly, if the fitting is installed in a hazardous location, it must be listed for hazardous locations. Some common types of fittings used to transition between NM or MC cable and EMT conduit include compression connectors, set screw connectors, and combination connectors. Compression connectors provide a secure and watertight connection. Set screw connectors are less expensive but may not provide as secure of a connection. Combination connectors are designed to be used with both NM or MC cable and EMT conduit. When selecting a fitting, it is important to consider the size and type of cable and conduit being used. The fitting must be sized correctly to ensure a proper fit. It is also important to consider the material of the cable and conduit. For example, if the cable is aluminum and the conduit is steel, a bimetallic connector must be used to prevent corrosion. In addition to the type of fitting used, the installation of the fitting is also important. The fitting must be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. The screws or bolts must be tightened to the proper torque. The cable and conduit must be properly supported to prevent strain on the fitting. The NEC provides specific requirements for the support of cables and conduits. These requirements vary depending on the type of cable or conduit and the application. In general, cables and conduits must be supported at intervals of not more than 4.5 feet and within 12 inches of boxes, cabinets, and fittings. The supports must be designed to prevent damage to the cable or conduit. When transitioning from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit in a wall, it is important to consider the fire rating of the wall. If the wall is a fire-rated wall, the transition must be made in a fire-rated box or fitting. The box or fitting must be listed for the purpose and installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. The NEC provides specific requirements for fire-stopping penetrations in fire-rated walls. These requirements are designed to prevent the spread of fire and smoke through the wall. In addition to the fire rating of the wall, it is also important to consider the sound rating of the wall. If the wall is a sound-rated wall, the transition must be made in a sound-rated box or fitting. The box or fitting must be listed for the purpose and installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. The NEC does not provide specific requirements for sound-stopping penetrations in sound-rated walls. However, it is important to seal any gaps or openings around the penetration to prevent the transmission of sound. When transitioning from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit in a wall, it is important to consider the potential for moisture. If the wall is exposed to moisture, the transition must be made in a watertight box or fitting. The box or fitting must be listed for the purpose and installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. The NEC provides specific requirements for the installation of wiring in wet locations. These requirements are designed to prevent electrical shock and fire hazards. In summary, the transition from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit within a wall requires careful consideration of several factors to ensure compliance with electrical codes and safety regulations. Firstly, the type of fitting used for the transition must be appropriate for the specific cables and conduit being connected. It should be listed for its intended purpose and suitable for the environmental conditions present, such as wet or hazardous locations. Secondly, accessibility of the transition fitting is a key consideration. Generally, electrical codes mandate that connections and splices be made in accessible boxes or fittings to facilitate inspection, maintenance, and troubleshooting. However, exceptions may exist for listed and labeled devices or systems specifically designed for concealed use. Thirdly, the installation of the fitting must adhere strictly to the manufacturer's instructions, including proper tightening of screws or bolts and adequate support for the cables and conduit to prevent strain on the connection. Fourthly, for walls with fire resistance ratings, the transition must be made using fire-rated boxes or fittings listed for this purpose, and the installation must comply with fire-stopping requirements to prevent the spread of fire and smoke. Fifthly, in sound-rated walls, sound-rated boxes or fittings should be used, and any gaps or openings around the penetration should be sealed to minimize sound transmission. Finally, if the wall is exposed to moisture, watertight boxes or fittings listed for wet locations must be used to prevent electrical hazards. Consulting with a qualified electrical inspector is always recommended to ensure compliance with the NEC and any applicable local codes. This ensures that the installation is safe, reliable, and meets all regulatory requirements. The NEC, published by the National Fire Protection Association, is a widely adopted standard for electrical installations in the United States. It is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and best practices. The NEC contains detailed requirements for all aspects of electrical wiring, including the types of wiring methods that are permitted, the size of conductors that are required, and the grounding and bonding requirements. The NEC also contains specific requirements for special occupancies such as healthcare facilities, industrial plants, and hazardous locations. Local codes may amend or supplement the NEC to address specific local conditions or concerns. It is important to be familiar with both the NEC and any applicable local codes before undertaking any electrical work. In addition to the NEC, there are other standards and regulations that may apply to electrical installations. These include standards published by Underwriters Laboratories, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and the American National Standards Institute. These standards provide detailed specifications for electrical equipment and materials. They also provide guidance on the safe installation and use of electrical equipment. Compliance with these standards and regulations is essential to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Failure to comply with these standards and regulations can result in serious injury or death. It can also result in property damage and legal liability. When transitioning from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit, it is important to use the correct tools and equipment. This includes wire strippers, crimpers, conduit benders, and fish tapes. It is also important to wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses, gloves, and hearing protection. The use of proper tools and equipment can help to prevent injuries and ensure that the installation is done correctly. It is also important to follow safe work practices when working with electricity. This includes de-energizing circuits before working on them, using lockout/tagout procedures, and testing circuits to ensure that they are de-energized. Failure to follow safe work practices can result in serious injury or death. In addition to the technical aspects of transitioning from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit, there are also aesthetic considerations. The installation should be neat and professional looking. The cables and conduit should be run in a straight and orderly manner. The boxes and fittings should be mounted securely and flush with the wall. A well-executed electrical installation can enhance the appearance of a building and increase its value. In conclusion, transitioning from NM or MC cable to EMT conduit within a wall involves several critical factors. These include selecting appropriate fittings, ensuring accessibility, adhering to installation instructions, considering fire and sound ratings, and addressing moisture concerns. Compliance with the NEC, local codes, and other applicable standards is essential to ensure the safety, reliability, and longevity of the electrical system. Always consult with a qualified electrical inspector to verify compliance and address any specific requirements or concerns related to the installation. By following these guidelines, the transition can be performed safely and effectively, providing a durable and code-compliant electrical connection. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous. If one is not comfortable performing electrical work, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician has the training and experience to perform electrical work safely and correctly. They can also ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Hiring a qualified electrician can provide peace of mind and protect from potential hazards. Furthermore, ensuring all work is up to code, the integrity of the electrical system and safety of the premises and its occupants are achieved. Ignoring the electrical safety measures can result in electrocution, shocks and burns, fire hazards, property damage, and potential liability for injuries or damages caused by faulty electrical work. The cost of hiring a qualified electrician is often less than the cost of repairing damage caused by faulty electrical work. It is also less than the cost of defending against a lawsuit resulting from an electrical injury. Therefore, hiring a qualified electrician is a wise investment. When selecting an electrician, it is important to choose one who is licensed and insured. A licensed electrician has met the requirements of the state or local jurisdiction to perform electrical work. An insured electrician has insurance to cover any damages or injuries caused by their work. It is also important to ask for references and check the electrician's online reviews. This can provide valuable insights into the quality of their work and their customer service. A reputable electrician will be happy to provide references and answer questions about their qualifications and experience. Finally, it is important to get a written estimate from the electrician before starting any work. The estimate should include a detailed description of the work to be performed, the materials to be used, and the total cost of the project. It is also important to ask about any potential additional costs that may arise during the project. A written estimate can help to avoid misunderstandings and ensure that one is getting a fair price for the work. By following these tips, one can find a qualified electrician who can perform the work safely, correctly, and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember, electrical safety is paramount, and it is always best to err on the side of caution.